And now we start with the second session of the day, and it is monetization of content, print, audio, video, and OTT. This session will explore monetizing content across various formats, including print, audio, video, and over-the-top platforms. It will explore the publishing industry's evolving business models and revenue streams. Considering the growing digital consumption trends, the session will discuss strategies for effectively monetizing content through subscription models, licensing agreements, partnerships, and advertising. It will also address challenges like piracy, content piracy, and the need for copyright protection in the digital era. The session aims to provide publishers with insights and practical approaches to optimize monetization strategies in a rapidly evolving media landscape. And for this session, to chair this session, sir, I'll request Honorable Prashant Nandaji, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, to come on the dais and chair the session. Dr. Prashant Nanda, who is now an MP Rajya Sabha. In politics, he was Minister in Odisha, Higher Education, Rural Development, and is affiliated to Indian films, Oriya, Bengali, Bhojpuri, Hindi, as an actor, director, story, and screenplay writer. And is editor for the last 60 years. He has received national awards, 6 times international award from many countries. Still continuing as a maker, director, and producer, apart from that, he has written 32 books, which are novels, short stories, etc., in Oriya and English language. He is a regular columnist in Oriya #1 newspaper, Samaja, every Sunday for the last 7 years non-stop. This is just few things about him, and today I'll request him to chair this session, sir. And for this session, we have Girish Srivastavji, who is the founder and CEO, DPAG Consulting. I'll request Girish Srivastavji to come on the dais. In a career of spanning over 32 years, Girish ji has worked with Indian Broadcasting Foundation, IBF, NESCOM, Beckel Corporation, USA, Toyo Engineering Corporation, Japan, and Reliance Industries. Girish ji is presently advising firms on content and technology matters, intellectual property rights, trade policy, and regulatory affairs, business and investment promotion program, amongst others. Girish ji has extended his valuable contribution in some of the most prestigious research assignments. He is regular author and in various leading Indian newspapers and global journals. Sir, I'll also invite Mr. Prashant Pathak, who is a publisher from Wonder House Books. Prashant ji is a publisher at Wonder House Books. It is an imprint of Prakash Books. Wonder House is a children imprint of the group that publishes original pedagogical driven content for local and export market. Wonder House is 2 times winner 2022 and 2023 for Best Children's Publisher of India at the PVLF Awards. Prashant ji started his earlier career with gaming and was key part of Lord of the Rings online MMORPG customer support team. Sir, we welcome you for this session. And we have Sarup Nandaji, CEO, Lead Start. He is a creator, economy entrepreneur, founder of Lead Start Publishers and now Pencil. Pencil enables writers and publishers to create, improve, and monetize their stories. Pencil enables people to get their books published and distribute them globally as paperbacks and ebooks via its tech platform. Sir, you are welcome for this session. I'll request chair of the session to start with the program. I request Honorable Prashant Nandaji to proceed with the session.
I'm really thankful to Indian Publishers Conference here and Sarup Nandaji, Prashant Pathakji, and Girish, it's a different kind of atmosphere that I'm facing today in my life. Never seen so much of publishers together. It had to happen one day and it has happened today. I know one thing from the very beginning. Money, 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 brighter than sunshine, sweeter than honey. Anything that we do, we first think of monetizing it. Anything we do. Yes, people say people who join politics, they are for the people, they work for the people, they think for the people. That's all right. But then at the end of the day, we are seeing that they have prospered financially. So everybody want to prosper in this way. And I, being a filmmaker, when I started making film, my area was very small. I was making regional film, Odisha, small market. And from there I started. And I understood the factors, how to monetize it. So from there I have learnt how to make profits even in very, very constrained atmosphere. And I have seen in Orissa also, there was a time when lots of publishers in 1950 to 1970, lots of book publishers, they came. They were doing well. But suddenly, I do not know, slowly and slowly, all the publishers, most of them, have stopped their publishing organization. Probably they couldn't monetize the contents, anything. So whether it is a film or a book or the contents which the publishers do have, the most important thing is the writer. The main person is the writer. The writer has to decide for whom he is writing this book. What is his targeted readers? Like when we make film, we first decide who are my targeted audience. Suppose a writer wants that I know mythology and I'll be writing about mythology. Then he'll first think who are the people who will read my books? 60 plus? Male or female? He has to decide. And the content will decide ultimately who are his targeted readers. The film is also like that. As long as I am catering to the requirement of my audience, I am all right. My film will definitely do well. And one thing I have understood, that this category changes in every 10 years. Every 10 years. The subject which was absolutely an acceptable subject, that becomes a mediocre subject after 10 years. As I was reading one book, everybody must have read, The White Canvas. A person who read half of the book And he was mad. I'll read the balance of it. He couldn't get. It took him 20 years to get that book again. And he thought that I must read today. I will not do anything else. I am eager to know what happened that balance. And I'm sorry to tell you that while he read out the balance, he teared up the whole book and threw because he has grown more than the book. It happens in everything. So now it's a very, very sensitive subject to monetize. Yes, the publishers, they must live and live comfortably so that the writers, the content writers also will emerge. Unless a content writer thinks that this is my profession and I can manage my life with this kind of profession, they cannot create, and the publisher will never get the best out of the 1.4 crores of the people of this country. So now, this stage we have reached where not only selling books in the bookshops or wheelers or anywhere, there are other avenues for selling, lots of avenues. We have social media, we have Instagram, we have uh, Facebook, and I mean, there are a lot of things are there that everybody is known. It is absolutely a known fact, and you know exactly how much reader or how much viewer, if you achieve, how much money we will get. It's all standardized. And you will get it, you will get that money. But I will tell you one of my experience, because you pardon me if I am going away from the subject anyway, because I'm not used to this kind of audience that I had already said. You see, what happens, I wrote many books. In Orissa, I first started writing one fiction. Everybody said that it's wonderful. You are writing so well. I said, okay, let's see what is happening. But it never happened. It never happened. And everybody who has been given a book by me, they all came out with all sorts of praises. But it didn't take the market because there was no market. Now, I have felt from 2000 onwards, the number of readers are slowing down. That is coming down. Why? It's a matter, it is to be discussed in another year. But it didn't happen. So only 2000 books were sold in 1 year. Then I thought, should I try to find out who are my readers? Then I thought that there are people like Swarup or many other people, many other Orias, they are everywhere in this country. And then there are many Orias, they are in different parts of the world. They have no time to read a book so much. So what I can do? So what I did, I took that book, and that book was read by somebody who has got a good voice. I, I made it a value-added books like background music and some effect sound, and then I made it to 8 episodes to tell you what the magic effect of it, that 1,000 books were sold, but 20,000, that the 20,000 uh, people, they have sent their letter to the publisher that we want to get that book. It could happen in Odisha. It can happen to anybody. So that is another thing which you have to take. Plus, now the content writer has not only to write a book, he has got lot of web series people, they are trying for the contents. Then OTTs, then film wale, whatever they are. And I can remember that when the biggest hero, Rajesh Khanna, was getting around 16 lakhs in that time, Salim Javed were also getting 16 lakhs. They are content writer, screenplay writer, story writer. So, first thing, now, the rights of the content, it has to be acquired properly because it is sellable. Now, there is a wide open market, and all this market has to be tapped. And like I said, some of the books which has a different kind of audience, you have to think how to reach them. And this is what we will be discussing today. And I'll be hearing from all knowledgeable persons sitting over here on the dais. And then, if necessary, I will speak on them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. In the interest of time, I would like to be very, very brief and completely stick to the topic of the discussion, the monetization of content. It's very, very important. The very first point that I would like to raise is a very serious concern. I have been advocate of public policy since last 27 years in New Delhi, leading organizations like NASCOM, healthcare, media, films, and everywhere I have seen this issue being raised. I'm very fortunate to be with publishing industry today. I was looking at the data of piracy globally. Hundreds of millions of hits are going to the computer, to the digital systems, almost every second. And publishing industry, there was a very interesting graph. Almost 26% of those hits are directed towards publishing sector. If you look at the overall growth being attempted on piracy, almost 18% is the overall growth of piracy globally. Out of 18%, 37% is directed towards publishing sector, almost double. That means pirates have got very special interest on publishing industry. The various contents that you are flowing all over the world, both print and digital. This is a very, very serious issue. Chairman, sir, you come from films. So I'll just give a very quick example related to films. Last year, I was moderating a session in International Film Festival, Goa. Secretary MIB had sent me there because the panel was like very different coming from various countries. And the topic was monetization of indie contents, Indian contents overseas. German was there, C4 channel was there, BBC was there, everybody was there on the dais. And who were the audience? Independent producers. not the commercial ones. They're all brains, innovators. The fundamental issue that was raised by most of the innovators was very striking. Fortunately, we had Joint Secretary Film sitting there on the dais. I was very fortunate to moderate that session because I could raise that issue. Sir, they said that our content, our films are getting pirated overseas, cross-border. We operate with a very low budget. And if we have to fight a legal case outside India, how do we fight? Lawyers are very, very expensive, very expensive. Whether government can support on this or not. I asked this question straight away to JS Films because I was hurt. I have seen this in software industry. I have seen this in healthcare, data getting lost. And I have seen very closely in content industry, now the publishing. JS Films answered this. I am repeating this, if the newspapers covered that they are speaking with all the missions overseas, our ambassadors, our high commissioners, consular generals, and the message has been given that our creative industry, if they are stuck into this situation, please help them. How do they help them? Of course, they can't pay the fee of the lawyers, but there are frameworks available worldwide where if ambassador intervenes, you are better protected and your cases are highlighted, your cases are escalated globally. This is something which I want to share with all the publishers here today. If you are stuck with piracy concerns overseas, please go to our embassy there and kindly report there because the legal matter is very, very expensive and this is a very serious concern, directly affects your monetization. This is point number one I want to communicate. I want to share that mission would be very receptive and Ministry of INB has already written to them. Everywhere it has gone and they are trying to bring it through an order. So all the filmmakers and publishers, they can proceed there. Second, sir, publishers have a lot of monetization strategy. You can go to ad-based, video on demand, subscription-based, transaction-based, and the topic itself states about OTT. The OTT, everybody is very passionate about OTT. I have some different thoughts about the whole OTT scheme. While you can go with subscription-based, ad-based, all these revenue streams are available for you. In the digital age, these things are getting invented. Particularly, let me focus on OTT. I was with media, I started my journey with media in 2014-15. And most of the OTT platforms came after that. Hotstar, Woot, Sony Live, Z5 is very new, all of them. And then there was a discussion, and I always spoke against OTT. My belief is, if you are a publisher, your job is not to play with technology. Your job is to concentrate on publishing, create content, create meaningful content, and your sole focus should be there. Because technology comes at a big risk and cost. It is changing every day. This is the job of Infosys, HCL, Tech Mahindra of this world, IBMs of this world, not XYZ company. I spoke this today it is Disney, that day it was Star India boardroom. I said I am against this. After 3 years, let us test the water. Board took a decision to go ahead with OTT. They took the decision. 4 years later, their balance sheet had 600 crore negative number. The cost is very high. Cost is very high. Right? Every year you have to infuse money there. How long? After all, your monetization is based on subscription, which is, in the Reliance Jio world, you have no scope. And then the ad-based. That's all. These are the two revenue streams you have. They are all recovering. Disney is planning to come out of Hulu that they have planned in a big way. Right? And that's the thing. Another problem with OTT is you have limited access to ad servers. Imagine the Google, Meta, Facebook today, all of them do complete dadagiri with content folks. They have their own contract philosophy. You go to them, they is very restrictive. You read the newspaper worldwide. Worldwide, there are cases against them. There is a complete discrimination. They are not transparent. This is what the industry says. This is what all of us read. I would therefore request FIP to write a very strong representation to our minister in whatever relevant ministry you have, but definitely the INB and Ministry of IT should be covered. Inform Piyush Goyal ji, he is dealing with a lot of cross-border trade negotiations. He will take it up. I think you should say that we are almost $10 billion industry. We are big. We are growing at a very impressive rate. That's what Nielsen report says. And all of us have to believe that. That's a very good strategic report that you have. And tell them if ad revenue is one of the key source of revenue that we have. So please tell them to be transparent, and we don't have to have very restrictive contracting arrangement with them. These are the 2-3 things. Media is taking care of this. News channels have written. Film has written. Now it is a turn of publishing industry to take it up. Sir, you are with Raj Sabha. You can always, facilitate publishing sector to do this. That's the thing. Now having said about OTT platform, I don't want to only create problems. I want to give you some solutions. This term OTT, all of you have seen word. Your books go all over. We term it as the video on demand. It is called video on demand. Imagine a scenario. Couple of publishers come together. Our FIP, itself goes on behalf of publishers, speaks with Infosys. I'm giving an example. I'm not selling Infosys. You can go to TCS anywhere. Any technology company, and tell them, you create a platform for us, all right? Video on demand platform for us. We will come and build our own OTT there. It is very much possible. There is a platform. If Printers Hall wants to take its content worldwide, Printers Hall speaks with, say, technology company X, that my requirement is Africa, Asia, Middle East, Central Asia. These are the places I want to take my content. So the platform will say, please come. You go there. You create an exclusive space. There is a data privacy. Everything is taken care. Security concerns are taken care. Your content will not go anywhere. And then they beam it all over. So you have no technology risk. You have no digital risk. All you do is pay some rental yearly. That's all. They will take care of everything. HCL America is trying this already, and they have approached most of the broadcasters that you don't have to enter into this expensive space. Second, this is the solution that I am giving. Second point is, if you want to be with OTT, assuming you have decided, no, we'll have our own OTT. So please go ahead, let FIP create the OTT for all the Indian publishers. Let FIP create. Speak with tech partners, collaborate with them, have a transaction-based model, they'll do it for you. And then your content has to go locally. Say in US, there are a lot of Indian diaspora, you have to touch various geographies. Then there are local OTTs, local digital platforms, you hook with them, you have a FIP, you hook with them and go worldwide. And that will also help you. I'm not a master of publishing industry. The way I understand is like your personal branding is very important. So you create loyal customers, loyal readers, and they get converted to your, they finally buy your content. So all those things you can do. This is the OTT side. And the last point that I say, few days back, our personal data protection bill has been released. Believe my words, this is going to be a very expensive affair to implement it in every organization. Day before yesterday, I was speaking with Ministry of Finance. Actually, I batted on your behalf. I told them not everybody is big. There are small companies. We have lakhs and lakhs of SMEs today. If 6,50,000 companies are registered with MCA portal, 90% of them or 95% of them would be small to medium organizations. You have brought this change. They have not enforced it. If you have brought this change and you are imposing a cost on them, please give them tax rebate. This is what I've told them. I said, if your cost of being personal data protection bill compliant is a burden to you, you didn't know this. You brought this. We were in any case living before this. There was, if Data Protection Act is not there, then by the way of contract, there is a clause always there. So I'm a big votary to personal data protection bill, but I was saying when you impose such things which has a cost implication, particularly on smaller companies, please give them tax deduction. That way they will also come forward and be compliant. This is the India that we are talking. This is another point FIP can include. And the GDPR is very expensive. GDPR is worldwide. US is having safe harbor. But GDPR, all the EU directives are going all over the world. You are going to face this, not only the consent of data, but problem for you is handling that data. You have to store that data, handle that data, exchange with people. So that's going to be a burden. You can't escape from it. But I'm sure FIP can have a good strategy on this, mainly for all the members. If something can be worked out, you can deal commonly with some lawyer or group of lawyers who can help every company to be compliant. At least it will become some cost effective, but you must definitely go to Ministry of Finance and write to them that please help me. So these are the few points I feel if attended properly, I think the monetization will happen on its own. This will take you to the good height and your sector will see upsurge for sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Giriji. You have really tried to hit a point which is very, very important, that is piracy. And on 7th of this month, on a amendment bill, I was speaking and I accepted and gave suggestions also to the minister. There is a stringent punishment for piracy, and whatever you were talking, it will come. And day before yesterday, data piracy bill was also tabled and it has been passed. So everything we're taking care. We're trying to do it. You see, taking care and happening something are two different things. It happens. But always let us think positively. It will come. You have given very good suggestions regarding OTT, how to combat the problems which the people are facing. I am also telling you that the government is coming with another amendment on OTT, where we would like to control OTT as far as our country is concerned. That we are doing, and it will come in the next winter session. I think all that you have said, all that you have given us a light or happy things to think about, it will come. Thank you. Now I request Prashant ji.
Thank you for inviting me in this August gathering in the month of August. And before I start pouring my half glass of knowledge in front of the industry stalwart sitting in the front row. I would like to say that monetization of content, I would be very brief talking about, especially on the sides of trade publishing, both children and adult. That's what my specialization is. 15 years ago, when I got into publishing after gaming, I was told that you need to have a big fortune to earn a little fortune in publishing. And over the last 1.5 decades, I have learned that there is enough money to make in publishing, and there are enough avenues to explore. You have to be a sailor to sail into different territories and see what you can achieve. Over the last 6 years, when I joined Prakash Group and started the children's imprint Wonder House, we have seen immense success, not in the Indian market, but in the global market. This year, you will all be proud to know that Wonder House Books was chosen at the Bologna International Children Book Fair as the best publisher from Asia, and there was a huge felicitation around this. And so when we talk about monetization of content, as a publisher, we think that content can be transformed into one format, which is paper, book. But I see content as a media which can flow, content as a product which can flow into different medias. So book is just one aspect of it. It can go into different various formats. And in last 10 years, with the advent of technology, uh, this has facilitated this so much that there are multiple ways of revenue generation has emerged. I'll start with few things which we do, and one of the things is we heavily focus on the rights and the permissions market, and we exhibit close to 20 international book fairs globally, and we try and sell rights into different territories. You'll be surprised to know, and people say France is a very hard market. We recently sold rights of a graphic novel to a French market. We sold rights of a self-help meditation book in the Spanish market to one of the biggest Spanish publishers. We are exporting our books in stocks in close to 35 different geographies across the globe. And one of the biggest thing which we are doing, and which a lot of people don't look into as a trade children or trade adult publisher, is the possibility of doing co-editions with different markets. The amount of co-editions which we are doing, and which we have learned, I have learned from the best in the industry. We have been doing this from last 20 years or so, but this is now growing again. And what we bring in co-edition is nothing but white labeling. So basically, you find a buyer in another country, instead of just giving the file rights, you completely package the book and send it to them. So you sell the rights, but you get the translation from other countries, you place it on the book, you print it here locally, and then you ship it out to them. It gives you a wider control, especially in the market where we work in, which is mass market trade publishing. It gives you a wider control because you exactly know the amount of copies which you are sending out. So they can't print more. The files remains with you. So that is something which is growing in last 6 or 7 years. We have seen that this has grown a lot. India has been in the forefront of monetizing content, I think from last 30, 35 years. If you see the entire backbone of higher education publishing, the content is getting developed. If not developed, is getting formatted, designed, typesetted here in India. There are companies like Aptara, there are companies like Integra in Pondicherry, which house close to 5,000 people working for the international companies like Wiley and Elsevier. So we have been very strong in managing and curating content. I think it's high time for local publishers here to manage the end-to-end process. then when I say to manage the end-to-end process, we are good in curating content, we are good in designing, we are good in formatting, and then we give it to the international publisher. They publish, print, and bring the books back to India. But we have the capability, we have the resources now to do end-to-end process and spread globally. Prakash Books, both in print, half of our revenues right now are coming from the American market. And it's not that we are doing co-editions in the American market, we are reaching to the market directly through a distributor. If you go now, check on Amazon US and you type Wonder House Books, on top 100 you'll see 2 titles, which has been there from last 2.5 years. So our volume, in terms of revenues, is half and half, and our volumes are in US are smaller, so there is a bigger pie to eat from that bigger market. And what we have realized that the whole idea was that, especially in mass market, the ABCD, the numbers and color shapes, everything remains the same across the globe. So we realized that why there is a need to import those books to India. Why can't we make better product and sell it out to the other domains and other market? And luckily the stars were aligned and we were able to do so. So I'm saying there's a huge potential in monetizing the content in the rights, permissions, and co-edition market. Apart from that, there are markets you would not reach, but and there's easier way to do it through the help of ebooks. Ebooks simply all you need to do is convert that book into one format. And the beauty now is that we used to think about how we will manage 50 channels. I mean, there are 50 channels where the ebooks can be sold. Amazon, we are talking about Apple, we are talking about Overdrive, but they are in market, there are ebook aggregators. You can tie up with them. You tie up with one ebook aggregator, and they will sell into 60 or 70 different platforms, and you will be selling it across the globe. So that's another avenue where you can monetize your content without printing the books. On the other hand, I was having this conversation with Mr. Senthil the other day, we were in office. I'm not averse to technology, but I'm very careful how technology has to be used. But with the technology available now, there's no restriction for us to translate our books into multiple language. We right now are not only publishing books in English, Hindi, but we have published books in Spanish, we have published books in French, Chinese, and we are trying to sell that into different markets. And it's very easy to do. Of course, there are translators, but if there's the bigger bouquet, you can translate with help of technology and make it available in the form of ebooks. Another thing which has come in last 10 years, and it is growing slowly and slowly pretty big, especially for the trade book publishers, is a thing called print on demand, which you would already know. And there are print on demand aggregators across the globe. The whole idea is your content should be available in some form or the other perpetually. In case if somebody has a demand, it should be fulfilled. You should not be losing sales in any format. So you have to be available in the market into different formats so that it can be consumed. If you're still thinking, how do I go about it? I think you take that leap of faith and just be there. In some places, you'll not make money, but you'll be surprised the revenue streams coming in from different places. And I think publishing as a business, and the topic I was reading, the role of publishing in nation building, I think it's high time, and Pranav and me, we keep on talking that Indian publishers should strengthen themselves and not only look at the 140 crores market, which we have here in India, but the entire 8 billion people across the globe. We have the advantage of language, whether it's a colonial language or not, but we have that advantage of language, and we have, I believe, better grammar than anybody else in the world at this point of time. So we have that advantage, and we should take that advantage and move forward. And another thing is that a lot of people don't believe in technology. We are very pro-technology. The time for push sales is gone. So a lot of people think, how do we monetize? We have to go out and sell it. There are tools available in the market, and I can't cover everything into one small session, but I'll be very happy to talk about it after the session. But the time is now for pull sessions, pull sales. And pull sales can be achieved by the help of a lot of tools available. Right now, everybody is on internet. Everybody uses internet in a certain way. We have analytical tools which we can use and find out what is working and what is not. In Prakash books, we use a lot of analytical tools to understand what is happening in the market. What are people searching for? And it's so simple. If you want to know what are people searching for, everybody uses Amazon here. Go on to amazon.in and write book for 6-year-old, and you will have 8 or 10 prompts in a drop down. Those are the keywords. Those are the things people are searching for. So it's pretty easy to find that what are people searching for, and then you customize it. Then you customize it for the customer in a better way so that it can be consumed. On that note, I'll stop and pass the mic to my colleague here to talk about this topic more. And I'll be very happy to talk about it after the session as well.
Thank you, Mr. Pathakji. You have really given an insight of how to make money. Uh, Here, actually, I would like to tell you one, it's a suggestion for me. Now that the situation has become like this, that only publishing by a publisher is not the kind of monetization it has to be done. So when you have got other thing, then you have to decide from the very beginning, the content writer and publisher, how much they share themselves. Because if you are going to OTT market or other markets, then the content writer will say that it is my rights only. You have nothing to do. So there, I think a time has come when a publisher has to come in agreement with the content writers before publishing. This is what is coming out from our discussion. Now I will give the mic to Swarup. I may tell you that I have most intimate friend. I have from childhood friend, his sister's son. He is here. I was hearing about him. I know his mother because she is like sister to me. And she used to always say that Swarup is doing well and all that. Your mama is also very happy about your performance. Now, for the first time I am seeing you and for the first time I will be listening from you. Okay, Swarup, it's yours.
Thank you. Greetings all of you. Wonderful points shared already. What I'll do is I'll just run you through our journey because from trade publishing to specially monetizing secondary or derivative rights is something that we've taken the focus of our company to. So I think we'd be able to help many publishers with the same. Right. In the initial days of, say, 2012-13, when rights were not divided enough, I'm just covering our journey of it, right? We just had the print rights, then we added the ebook rights, we added the audio rights, and we encountered a lot of challenges and new lines of revenue as we kind of grew along, right? And this is my effort to kind of share those with you. I'll just begin with audio, then I'll cover AV and other rights as well, and what have we been doing about it. In terms of audio, in about 2019-20, did we discover that our agreements were not as good as they should have been. What we should have done is broken audio into 3 types of audio. Audio is not a single right. So you can have a podcast right, you can have a screenplay right, and you can have an audiobook right. And all the 3 things are monetizable. All the 3 things can work independently and separately, right? So there was one learning on audio. And since we were having those learnings, what we also started doing is we started sharing our learnings and started representing other publishers for their content. I'll give you a brief background of myself. Before publishing, I was a part of the founding team of National Geographic Channel in India. So 2005 to 2010, I've worked with the National Geographic Channel. So a lot of friends and we are one of the publishing houses that is in from Bombay. So we understand the media space really well. A lot of friends are, whatever's Netflix today was the X-Star TV team, so and so forth. So those connections and social circuits are always there. Um, and there's a lot of learning to be done from media space for publishing, because the way they look at rights, slicing, dicing each right to look at a very different angle and revenue model at different geographies is interesting. So I come in with those learnings and happy to share those with them. We've just started a representation business on for publishers to help them monetize just with audio. And within barely, from April, barely it's about 4-5 months, we've been able to enhance revenues for publishers by 3%, 5%, somewhere depending on how the catalogs are. So 3 lakhs to 10 lakh rupees additional revenue a month we've been able to add to our partner publishers. We've started only with Marathi, we've started with some parts of Tamil, etc. So happy to share those learnings with you. Now, a significant thing that we've been building, so we are a venture-funded company. We created Pencil, which will open itself in 3 layers. The 1.0 layer is already up, where a writer or a publisher can publish their books through Pencil. It's largely for writers, but the book is available on 400 plus retailers. So like the ones that Prashant has mentioned. Pencil is a creator tool, so you can create the book there. It's a distribution tool, which means it's a multi-aggregator. So it'll go live on multiple ebook readers. It'll go live as print on demand worldwide. We are adding 2 more layers, which is AI generated audiobook also, so that's a creator tool there. And enhanced ebooks, which means you will be able to add audio and video inside your ebook. So which Kindle doesn't support and others don't support, right? So that's our learnings, that's our journey on Pencil as a product. The big layer that we are adding to Pencil in the coming year, which we've already activated, is we already have 93 of India's top producers, OTT platforms, and movie studios already on Pencil. So you'll be able to pitch to a Disney or to a Netflix or to say Rajkumar Hirani films. Right. We've sold already 15 rights. 2 of them are already all screen now. Right. And we've made the whole journey very comfortable in the sense that a publisher account, you can open a publisher account, you can add in your titles as a Bible with a long, a log line, a synopsis, short synopsis, etc. So there is a little bit of work to be done there, but we're supporting publishers on how do you kind of get that going. We are creating a score, which we are calling the Pencil score, largely a quality assessment of a story. We've done that with critiques and an AI engine. So we've taken the inputs from all major producers, or like several major producers already platforms, understood how do they evaluate a story? What are the questions that they would ask, right? We built those questions into the platform so that the critiques can therefore understand how will this transmute to screen, so to say, right? And since there are 10 critiques who critique it, so it's not a single critique. So the score is kind of generally a decent preliminary score for evaluation. What happens with when you're looking at OTT platforms, all of these big names, the teams there are actually fairly small. So we work very closely with, say, Dharma Pictures. Dharma just has 4 people to evaluate stories. Now, as just 4 people to evaluate stories. So if way too many stories come in, it's going to be a challenge on being able to find that time. Hence, a scoring or a curation mechanism is important to kind of get that going. So that's one part that we're doing. We'll open the Pencil platform for producers or OTT platforms formally by January. But at the moment, we are helping uh, publishers onboard their content. One more very interesting insight that we've seen in our journey on monetization and how stories can navigate geographies. I have a friend called Sarita Patil. She used to head Viacom 18 earlier, which is now at Reliance. She started a production house called Matchbox Shots. You might have seen this movie on Netflix called Monica, Oh My Darling. It's a wonderful movie. I recommend you see it. It's actually the adaptation of a Japanese novel, right? And I was just kind of running with, I was kind of understanding her process of acquisition, and that Japanese novel it's the first time that it's getting transmuted to a Hindi movie, right? We also got to realize there is a Seoul-based Korean company called Cross Pictures, KROSS, right? They've acquired rights for our Hindi movie, which is by Vidya Balan, this one. I'm sorry, I'm losing the name. Okay, so that movie is getting made to Korean, right? So, so stories are essentially transmuting borders everywhere. And there is a lot of demand for original movies or original stories, right? You know, we've just had an acquisition for a Marathi movie, which is a Marathi story, which is a horror-based story in Konkan that you know, one of the producers have acquired, right? I have a lot of producer friends who keep asking for Korean rights because that space is not coming along. But the point that I was broadly trying to deliver is there is a lot of demand for cross language, cross territory rights that are possible to do for your secondary rights. And this actually doesn't harm anything that you are doing in your business at the moment. It's just an add-on. So I'm happy to have more interactions with anybody who wants to understand better and what we could offer to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swarup. As you have all felt that this monetization is a bigger subject. It is the crux of the problem of all the publishers. Now you have to evaluate this OTT or this web series or the other things or the social medias. What is the benefit to the publishers? How the benefit will come to them? Because it is the content writers who is the sole authority. So how it is coming?
I want to add one thing, sir. Before you go on monetizing any content from any author, make sure that you have rights with you. Because a lot of time what has happened that we go on selling things which we don't have rights of.
That's what I am telling you. Then you have to now think when you are taking up new books, please see that you have an agreement with the writer so that anything happens that you will also get a percentage and the content writers also get from that. So that is how we live. A content writer and publisher, they have to be absolutely like like the like a rupee. Any side, one side publisher and the other side will be the content writer. And this is a new thought which is coming from this discussion. I think all the great publishers who are here, they will now think that way. And I liked one thing, Mr. Pathakji, when you started your deliberation or when you started, you say you need a big fortune to have little fortune from the publishers.
That's what I was told. That if you need to make little fortune in publishing, you have to start with a very big fortune. I don't know what things have changed, but sir sitting here would know that how much, I mean, they would have invested this money somewhere else, how much it would have grown.
So in this particular discussion, Girishji has told you about the piracy and OTT. and how to combat the OTT problems that he has said. Girish has told you all in details, and mostly the technical part and the technical process of monetizing have been narrated by, very splendidly said by Swarup. What I think, whenever you need, you can take help of them, you can call them and discuss them, because this is a point which cannot be told in 15 minutes. It needs completely a day, or minimum about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, because it is all about technical matters, and you have to understand that technology. And I am also telling you that very soon India is going to face another problem through metaverse, that augmented reality and virtual reality are coming. When it will come, then I think we have to see it again to discuss and make our plannings. Thank you very much, and I think this session is over by now. Thank you. I must thank Pranav also.
So thank you very much. It's very clear, if you want more money, you have to invest more time. So Prashantji will call you again and again and again to make more money. And of course, we need help of all of you to get. But at least give us our money whenever you get it. So now, on behalf of Federation of Indian Publishers, I'll request our President, Shri Ramesh Mittalji, to present a certificate of in gratitude to our speakers, please. We are also giving the prestigious publications of FIP, 75 years of book publishing. Thank you very much for a wonderful insight you have given us. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all for providing us such a wonderful information about our content and how we can monetize that.